We live in a world obsessed with perfection. Plans must be flawless, timing must be right, and we're expected to have everything figured out before taking the first step. But here's a truth that most successful people understand and live by. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes because of it. The illusion of the perfect beginning. How often have you said, "I'll start when I have more time. I'm waiting until I'm ready. I just need to plan this out a bit more." It feels safe. Planning gives us the illusion of control. But most of the time, it's just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of being seen starting small, fear of the unknown. And fear loves delay. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. But what if you flip the script? What if instead of waiting for clarity, you moved toward it? Because the truth is, you figure things out by doing, not by thinking. Why action creates clarity? Think about this. When you're driving through thick fog, you don't wait for the entire road to become clear before you start moving. You move slowly, carefully, and as you do, the road ahead reveals itself. Life is the same. Here's why action works. 1. Real-world feedback theoretical planning. You can spend months researching, reading books, watching videos, but you'll learn more in 1 week of doing than in 6 months of preparation. Action gives you feedback. You see what works and what doesn't. You adjust. You evolve. Want to be a writer? Start writing. Want to launch a business? Talk to customers. Want to get fit? Start with 10 push-ups. You won't have the perfect plan from day one, and you don't need to. 2. Motion builds momentum. Starting is hard. But once you do, even the tiniest step forward builds momentum. And momentum is powerful. It fuels motivation, confidence, and creativity. Waiting for motivation to strike is like waiting for lightning. It might come, it might not. But if you move, if you act, you create the spark yourself. 3. Doing builds identity. Each action you take, no matter how small, reinforces a new identity. If you write daily, you become a writer. If you show up at the gym, you become someone who takes care of their health. If you start creating content, you become a creator. You don't wait to become the person you want to be. You act like that person, and the identity follows. Stories of action leading to clarity. History is full of people who started without knowing where they were going and figured it out on the way. Steve Jobs, connecting the dots backward. Steve Jobs once said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward." When he dropped out of college, he had no idea how calligraphy classes would one day influence the typography of the Mac. He just followed curiosity, acted, and let the dots connect later. Oprah Winfrey, from TV reporter to icon. Oprah started as a local news anchor and was even fired for being unfit for TV. But she kept going. She didn't know her path would lead to her becoming one of the most influential women on the planet. She just kept showing up and saying yes to new opportunities. These people didn't have clarity. They had action. Clarity came later. Why waiting is dangerous? Let's be honest, waiting feels smart. It feels responsible. But here's the truth. Waiting robs you of progress disguised as preparation. Here's what happens when you wait. Opportunities pass you by. Fear grows bigger in your mind. Confidence slowly erodes. Life keeps moving without you. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You need to trust that you will learn as you go and grow as you move. Because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. The 3-step action formula. So how do you start when everything feels unclear or overwhelming? Step 1. Lower the bar. Stop trying to be perfect. Just aim for progress. Want to write a book? Start with 1 paragraph. Want to start a business? Talk to 1 potential customer. Want to get healthy? Take a walk today. Set goals so small they feel silly. Because small goals destroy resistance. You'll rarely feel motivated to climb a mountain, but you'll often feel okay with just lacing up your shoes. Step 2. Build a system, not just a goal. Instead of obsessing over the big result, build a system that you can show up to daily. Writing equals write 200 words a day. Fitness equals move 30 minutes every morning. Side hustle equals work 1 hour every evening. Systems create structure. Structure creates discipline. And discipline leads to results. Step 3. Adjust along the way. Don't overcommit to a fixed path. The path will shift, and that's okay. You'll try things that don't work. You'll change directions. You'll get new insights. That's the point. What matters is that you stay in motion. Stuck plans don't build great lives. Adaptable action does. Clarity grows with every step. You may not know what the end looks like. You may feel unsure about the direction. But each step forward will teach you something. Think of it like climbing a mountain in the fog. Every few steps, the view changes. You see a bit further. You notice different paths. You learn what works. You learn what doesn't. And eventually, things start to make sense. But you won't reach that clarity until you move. What happens when you just start? 1. You silence the inner critic. Action is the fastest way to quiet that inner voice that says, "You're not good enough. You don't know what you're doing. You'll probably fail." Because once you start, even in a small way, you create evidence that proves the critic wrong. 2. You become a magnet for opportunity. When you move, the world responds. People notice. Doors open. Unexpected connections happen. Luck finds you in motion. Waiting never attracts opportunity. Action does. 3. You grow resilience and confidence. Confidence doesn't come before the work. It comes from the work. Every time you show up despite fear, despite doubt, despite discomfort, you build grit. You start trusting yourself more. You become someone who follows through. What if you fail? Let's talk about the fear that stops most people. What if I fail? Here's a better question. What if you never start? Failure from action is always more valuable than failure from inaction. When you fail forward, you learn. You grow. You become stronger. But when you fail to act, you stay exactly where you are, stuck in regret, stuck in what-ifs. So yes, you might fail, but you also might fly. And the only way to find out is to start. Real talk. What's stopping you right now? Be honest. What's holding you back? Fear of not being good enough? Fear of judgment? Fear of wasting time? Now ask yourself, what's the cost of not starting? Lost time? Lost dreams? Lost potential? Because that cost is real. Every day you delay is a day you could have been better, stronger, freer. You don't need permission. You don't need more validation. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need to start. Right now. Right here. With what you have. Closing thoughts. One small step today. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to take the next step. So today, do one small thing. Write that email. Film that 30-second video. Apply to that job. Open that notebook and write the first line. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be real. Because once you start, you'll see a little clearer. And when you see clearer, you'll move faster. And when you move faster, the world opens up.